All right, and next up we are going to create that effect of, make someone appear really small, because we have shrink them, right? So now they can appear really small on the surface, and you can make objects appear really small. You can, like an example here, you can make persons appear really small. So let's jump right in that edit. So first of all, we need 2 shots, and the first shot is our talent performing. Either if you want to shrink a person, make sure you get a shot of that person, and if you want to shrink an object, get that shot of an object. And I recommend having a tripod ready and shooting from a tripod, and make sure you try to match the angle of your shooting your subject here to match the angle of the clean plate, because we're also going to need the clean plate. So it's 2 shots. It's the clean plate here. That's where we want to position our shrink character. And we need the character performing. And I didn't do a good job here. It was a crazy day. We had a lot to shoot. Like, we shot everything in a couple of hours. So I should have reshooted it and just positioned myself more upward, or for the clean plate or for the talent shot, I should have, not go too high with the camera. But it's still working. But if you want to have the best possible outcome, you try to match these angles perfectly. So here also for the talent shot, I've used a green screen, which didn't turn out really green. We could fix the green in the post, and that is one thing, but you should use the green screen without all these folds. It should be really clean and really green, and make sure there's no green in your talent, so you can just key it out. Because in that example here, let's create a new comp here, and let's apply the key light effect. And it's doing an okay job, but you see you have all these folds. Like, the green color is okay, but you have all these folds. So to fix that, you need to mask around everything, and it's a lot of work, and the green screen should actually make it easier. So we can actually mask around here, and then we could play around with the options here, but it didn't turn out to be a good result. So what I did instead, I had to rotoscope it. If you use a green screen, make sure it's clean, it's green, it has no folds, and you have good lighting on it. So nice try, Keanu, but we have to do it manually again. And if you don't have a green screen, don't worry, just use a really contrasty background. So if your talent is wearing black stuff, for example, like I do right now, use a clean white wall. So rotoscoping is going to be really easy, and use a high shutter again. Let's also bring in our clean plate. So now we have these 2 clips in our main composition. Let's get that talent performing, turn it layer off. So now we're going to composite everything together. So first of all, we are going to rotoscope our talent. This length is totally fine, since I know I only use this one for about, like 1 or 2 seconds, which is totally fine. Cool. You see here a lot of motion is going on, but there's no motion blur on the hand. That's because you have used a high shutter, and we can now rotoscope it. I mean, it's still going motion blur on. We could have even cranked the shutter higher, but this is totally fine for us. Make sure resolution is at full. It's a lot of rotoscoping today, man. It's like the rotoscoping lecture. So let's rotoscope our talent. Boom, boom, boom. Let's make a clean selection. We don't need that part here. Boom, boom. We don't need that part. Yes, the hand, please. Going up here. Yes, 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 yes. We don't need the green here. I'm excited how this is going to be performing. And here for the hair, for the rotoscope, it's pretty hard to get the hair 100% accurate. So there's another option, which is called Refine Edge tool. And now with the Refine Edge tool, you can roughly select the hair section. And this is perfect for hair. And you can actually, boom, see here how it's only selecting the hair. And this helps a lot for hair. So make sure if you have a lot of hair going on your shirt for your talent, use that. Nice. Now, since the selection is good, we can just press spacebar and it's going to track our shot. Yes, to analyze. So here we do not need to refine edges. Good example, because it's the hand is moving next to the hair. It analyzed the hand as well, but the refine edges are only used for the hair. So I'm going to correct that. That's a good example because usually it's easier because the fingers are not crossing the hair, but here it's sometimes it's a little bit more complicated. So that's all stuff you could actually think of in advance before you actually do the shots. With experience you have that in mind, but sometimes if it gets really busy, you you cannot think about everything, man. Let's check the total track here at the bottom. I think this is not too hard, so here's clearly a good result. Okay, now it's tracking or analyzing backwards as well. Let's see how it turns out. And boom. Yes, this is good. Yeah, here it's also taking the hand. Well, I think you can even leave it like that, like leave it here. But yeah, I don't want it right now. Okay, cool. I think that's a good selection. I'm happy with the track, with the rotoscope. So now I'm going to freeze the frame. All right, nice. Rotoscope analyzing is done. I'm going back here into our main comp and it's already looking pretty good. Nice. Now we can apply that refine edges tool to make that borders a little bit cleaner, refine hard matte and increase the feather amount to about 20. Yes, cool. And let's shift the edges to -5. Yes. And all right, that is looking good. Now we can open up scale with S and reposition our character in the frame. And I want to reposition him behind those chicken. I want to stand him here at this position. So the next step is going to be to mask out the lines here so we can position him behind that. So let's duplicate that clean plate. We can actually freeze that frame. And just pre-compose that. Boom, let's call this chicken. And now we are going to mask out that chicken plate here. Boom, we could just use the hand mask. I think it's good for that in that case. Pen tool or press G and roughly draw around that chicken. Maybe we should go more into the frame to have a good view of the chicken. Boom, boom. Sorry if you're vegetarian, but we had to order chicken wings. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's fine. That's enough because I want to position him here at the left. Let's go. Let's open up the mask options M and feather the mask here as well to 15 is good, I think. They have the clean mask here. Yes, nice. And this is already looking good. Let's drop the resolution to 1/3 so we can see a smooth and clean playback. All right, this looking already pretty good. So of course we can play around here. Wrong tool. We can play around here with the position. I think it's good to cover up the foot here. So let's move a little bit more to the left. A little bit more down. So yeah, I think that is looking pretty cool. Nice. And now we want to cause a shadow because you hear the light is coming mainly from the back. So this here is causing a shadow. So I think our character should cause a shadow as well. So let's duplicate that clip. And on the bottom one, we call this one shadow. Boom. And now we make the shadow a 3D layer. Just click here, check that box. Nice. And now we can do some pretty cool stuff. So let's move a little bit to the side and let's add the effect fill. Boom, it's going directly to get filled by that color, we can delete the refine hard matte here, and the fill color we're going to set to black, and we are also going to add the fast box blur, and we are going to increase the blur radius. Let's stay with 68 for now, and now we can change here the axis, which allows us to create a shadow. Nice. Let's move the shadow here all the way to the top, because of course it's has to be all the way on the top. And now we can place it to whatever point we want. And now I would go down in the opacity. So yeah, it's causing the shadow naturally. In the same way, we get the backlight here onto that thing, the plate sitting on the table. And since we have copied that layer, it's going to act exactly in the same way. And this is looking really good. Let's quickly wait for the playback. Nice. Okay, this is looking good. I think we can even lower the opacity a bit more, because this is just a nice add-on. And yeah, I think that is pretty cool. Yeah, I really like that effect. And also, you see, with the right shot, it's not too hard to recreate. Nice. So let's see the playback. That's so cool how the shadow is actually acting exactly the same way. So boom, et voila, there you have it. That's how you make them appear really small. And you can do exactly the same like we did for the superhero landing. We can now pre-compose everything here. Boom. And now we can scale in, add some camera motion. We can also add some shake to make it look more organic and more composited together. Nice. All right, check. All right, next up, we are going to create the headphone throw, which is going to look something like that. Pretty cool. I don't know why we get a black frame here. I think sometimes After Effects is just messing up things when I'm playing it on half resolution. Don't ask me why. It's After Effects. It's a program. So that's pretty cool. And I'm sliding in here that gray solid so we can add some text and have a good call to action at the end. So boom, that's what we are going to create. For this effect, we need 2 shots. One shot is going to look like that. Let's create a new comp. So that's our base layer. That's our base shot. Throwing the headphones, someone's taking them, and I can go back in a clean position. So that's our first shot we need. And the second shot is the headphones. I pretty much just spin them on a stick. And I need to rotoscope them because the green screen doesn't work. And we also have that little stick here in the middle, but that's not going to be a big problem. So these are the 2 shots. First of all, this one where you move your hand all the way out. You stay there for a second. You have someone grabbing your object you want to throw, in this case, the headphones, and you stay in a position and you go clean back. Why do we need that movement? So we are now making a cut at the very end here, where I'm all the way out with my hand, Command Shift D, making the cut. And now we are finding the right point where I go back with my hand. I think that's the first frame. Nice. And stitching them together like that. So boom, this looks pretty natural. This is exactly what we need. Now we can cut down the comp with Command Shift X. So this is the comp we are working in. So by now it should look something like that. So you're just kind of throwing, it disappeared, and yeah, from here on we can animate the rotoscoped or the isolated headphones, which we are going to create next. So just get in your headphones shot, and now we are going to rotoscope this shot. So the spin starts from here. So we can make a cut here because we don't need that beginning. And now we just need that one turn. And here we are at the end of the spin. Boom. I'm cutting this one as well because I only want to rotoscope the duration I'm really using in the end, because otherwise rotoscoping takes forever. So the less frames we have to rotoscope, the more time we have to create dope effects. So let's choose the rotoscope tool up here to the top and make sure it's set to full resolution and double click your clip. Now here we can select our object, in this case the headphones. Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard because now we have black on black here, but it's possible. It's possible. So make sure that first selection is clean. I actually put on some tape here, like the gray tape, because I knew otherwise it's going to black here as well. So I tried to cover this area with gray and also the area here. So in the hope that it's going to be easier to rotoscope. I think it's, the idea is actually working, but I should have gaffered or like taped the whole stick here to be 100% accurate and have it easier to rotoscope. Yeah, but hey, never stop learning. Next time I'm doing this effect, I'm of course, having better idea of how to film the shot. So editing is going to flow more and it's going to be easier to edit. So perfect, that's our first selection. Let's press spacebar and now we are going to correct here the area. So I should have taped it all the way up till here. So yeah, it's definitely making a good difference. And yes, this is looking good. I think we have to correct some spots like here. Let's go frame by frame because this is really fast. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's move on. Nice. Nice. Okay, yeah, rotoscope did a pretty good job here. And also here we can cover a lot with motion blur because this is not 100% accurate, but yeah, we'll fix that in post. Okay, nice. Let's freeze the frame. All right, and we are done. Freeze frame. Let's jump back into the main comp, and this is looking pretty good. So from here on, we needed headphones. And we need them to spin. And yeah, it's, of course, it's not 100%, but it's all right. So this is pretty much the last frame. This one I'm going to freeze frame. So the last animation is going to boom, stay there. Headphones going to stay there as well. So let's duplicate that layer, pre-comp that layer first. Yes, please. And now we can time freeze frame. Nice. Let's make that fit here. So it's going to look something like that. Perfect. So it's going to stay there at the end. Nice. Cool. Let's pre-comp everything we have here, that whole headphone. So we have that headphone rotoscope with the final freezed frame in one comp, which we can edit and animate. Nice. Let's call this one headphones. Easy as that. And now we are going to create some magic. So let's bring up the scale keyframe, pressing S, bring up the position keyframe, pressing P, but we also need to make it a 3D layer actually. So let's check the 3D layer here. Nice. Let's move the anchor point actually to the middle. I think the anchor point should be somewhere around here, so everything spins around that. So let's uncheck position again and scale. And now we can keyframe them again with the changed anchor point. So yeah, make sure that's correct. And now we can also go into orientation and keyframe the orientation as well, because when we are going to make changes here and that axis in the orientation, it's going to clip as well. Nice. So with everything keyframed, this with view, you're bringing up all the keyframes, and now we are dragging them back for the duration. So at the end, we want them to be at that position, at that specific position and orientation. Maybe a little bit more on the top. Maybe you have that last frame be somewhere around here. And let's go to the beginning here, and let's try to match the headphone size and position as good as possible. So maybe make them overlap by a second. And now we can scale that down, that headphones, and we can also rotate them. And I would say we also need to change the orientation a little bit. So something like that. All right. Okay, so this doesn't work like that. We definitely need to increase the scale. And we need to rotate it a little bit more like that. So I'm not 100% nailing it, I think. Because we don't have that shot of that headphones from the bottom. So we need to play around with some keyframing to make it look natural. But that's already pretty good. I think we need to really blur that layer here. So let's add a fast box blur, increase it. Yes, something like that. So we're going to match the headphones here, and let's create a keyframe for that box blur, bring up the keyframes with view, and here we want to be at 0. Well, to make it really look realistic, we should add directional blur. So here you can see the difference. If we add directional blur, let's say we want that to add it for 90% here, and yes, I think this is making a big difference because, yeah, that's looking good. Now it's a directional blur. Let's bring up the keyframes with view and move it back in time. And here at the end, we want to be at 0 blur. Okay, but one thing, we need to rotate the headphones. So the big end should be on the other side. So let's rotate them like that. Let's scale them down a little bit more like that. Let's try to match the position as best as possible. Okay, that's a little bit weird because we don't have a 3D model. So we have to actually create a rotation keyframe as well for the C rotation. So let's say C rotation at the end should be at 0, and at the beginning, well, actually the headphone should spin in. But this is actually all right. I think that's good. Let's ease that keyframes. Keyframe assistant, easy ease. Yes. Drag them a little bit more forward. And here, let's create an opacity keyframe. Here you want to be at 100. Beginning, want to be at 0 opacity. A little bit later, something like that. Yes. Can actually, I don't know, move this clip in the background, like give it one more frame. It's going to be smoother. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. So actually my hand doesn't fit 100% in there. So, yeah, you see, as clean as the background, now it goes smoother because I'm matching the background clip better. So yeah, that's nice. And also we want to add some Lumetri color because maybe comes always also from a little bit more from the bottom like that. Yes. And we want to add some Lumetri color because here you see a whole black font, the black font. We also want to add some Lumetri color because we see the headphones are really dark here. And in our example, they're actually like bluish. So let's add also Lumetri color, make a keyframe for the basic exposure, bring up keyframes with U. At the end, you want to be at 0, and here you want to be at -2. So this is just matching better. You see here now they are darker, the headphones. If I turn it off, like this is what it actually looks like. And now we are matching them by bringing down the exposure. Maybe even -3 is good. Yes. So you see, that makes a big difference. If you're now watching on a big screen, yes, this is looking Gucci. I like that. So let's create a new adjustment layer as well. Here, and let's call this one blur. We are going to blur a lot here. Let's drag it below the headphones. And as soon as the headphones get sharp here, the background should blur out. So let's apply a camera lens blur. Set the blur radius to 0. Make a keyframe. So here at the beginning of the row, it should be at 0. And here, something around 10. Maybe. So this is cool. Let's ease these keyframes. And now this should also make a big difference. Oh yeah, we can drop the resolution actually. Let's move a playback. Yeah, you see now the background is getting blurry because our headphones getting sharp. I think that's pretty cool. This is yeah, really clean. And now when headphones come in, we can create that solid coming in gray. So I like that gray tone here actually. Boom. So that's our gray solid. Let's make it big as the comp. Nice. And now we create a position keyframe. That's the end position. And here at the beginning, we want that solid to be maybe on the left, on the bottom, whatever works for you. You can also make it black. Black is also pretty cool. I am editing the speed graph here to get smooth. So it comes smoothly in. Boom. Another thing I would add here is a CC vignette. Boom, giving some more structure. I like that a lot. So it's not completely black. A little bit of a gray in here. Yeah, I like that a lot. Nice. Looking good. Looking good. All right, nice. This is looking good. We can also activate motion blur here for that layer. Oh, we already done it. Nice. Awesome. Perfect. So yeah, activating motion blur here. It's going to make it blurry when it comes in. Here, for example, here you see the border is like crispy sharp. Activating motion blur makes it blurry. Comes in smoothly. Nice. Guys, this is looking good. And yes, that's the headphone throw. And you can play around with that. You can throw your phone and make a transition into the screen. You can throw your camera or whatever object makes sense for your visuals, for your video. And yes, there you have it. So we just covered the superhero landing. You know how to shrink people with that reverb effect, like Ant-Man. You know how to make them appear really small on a surface. And you just learned how to throw objects, like in this case, a headphone set. So with that being said, I hope you have learned a lot today. And I'm going to see you in the next one.